it's really difficult to describe in words, but there was definitely a feeling there unlike any other feeling in any other city. It's very special, you know, and it's all because of the film industry. It was a combination, you know, the right stuff at the right time. It was just the way it was timed, you know. The composers were there, the directors were there, the writers were there, the architects were there, the events were there, you know.
The stars were there. I mean, the people who epitomized the glamour, the grandeur, the melancholy. Because and the fact that you pin it also not only to the movie industry but to Philip Marlowe, and there's the kind of underbelly. All of the text that you've taken from the various books for the liner notes have a kind of disenchantment, a sort of longing for things to be as beautiful as they seem, but that they aren't really. And yet he can't stop. Tough a guy as he is, he can't stop being a romantic about it.
That's right. And especially, they can't be like that anymore. They can only be that way in your dreams, and with some kind of communication in an art form, I think, you know. Certainly, there hasn't been a film that's recaptured it, maybe with the exception of something like Chinatown, which really came close to it. But the feeling of those films, you know, like The Big Sleep and Key Largo and Dark Passage and Maltese Falcon, which was San Francisco. Key Largo was Florida, but the feeling of those films were all Hollywood, you know, from that time period. And
again, there was always someone disillusioned in them. I mean, that love. There was love, but it was sometimes treacherous. There was always somebody that you couldn't trust. Much as you wanted to believe in something, life was going to set out and prove you wrong if you took that chance. Is that how you feel, I mean, in general, about the culture that we live in, that except in a dream or an old film or in the music that you can make with this group or that other musicians are making, that's where you're going to find some true, pure beauty that you can cling to?
Well, the popular music in the 40s that sold millions of records was somehow deeper, as far as I'm concerned. It was the music of Duke Ellington and Fletcher Henderson and Billie Holiday and Frank Sinatra and the Pied Pipers and Glenn Miller and Tommy Dorsey. Those are the records that sold millions of records. And that was the popular music. People were buying all those records. You know, Bobby Soxers were swooning over Frank Sinatra. It's somehow wanting to bring that to young people who didn't have a chance to experience it, and wanting to bring it to people my age who were just on the tail end, actually who were not on the tail end so much, but too young. I remember in 1947, I was 10. And I wish I could have been a little older, you know, so I could really have appreciated that. I always thought that maybe I was born too late. I wish I could have been born 10 years earlier, so I could have maybe had a chance to hang out with Humphrey Bogart or Max Steiner. You know, I've read a lot of stories about Max Steiner and Victor Young and the composers, Franz Waxman and Adolf Deutsch and all these guys. They all used to get together at each other's houses and play poker and drink and talk about life. And then also, if I had been a musician, which I know I probably would have, you know, in this fantasy, I would have played with Bird. But if I had played with Bird when all this stuff was going on, I may not have ever... I never would have had a chance to play with Ornette. I mean, all the events that happened with me wouldn't have happened. So I really am glad that everything happened the way it did, and that I emerged in the language of jazz, you know, with a bang, with Ornette and Don Cherry and Billy Higgins. It was almost the same feeling, I suppose, that was going on with Bird and Dizzy and Miles and everybody that was playing in the early 40s, you know. I was just talking to Red Rodney, you know, and asking him what it was like, you know. In some of those pictures I saw him sitting with Charlie Parker. And
looking so smooth with that red hair and those
yeah,
sharp
man.
suits. And
Oh, yeah. And, you know, you hear some of the records and you know that everybody was really, it was just happening. And you wish that you could have been there, you know. So, it's my way of being inspired by that and showing other people what inspires the music and hopefully evoking those feelings in other people, especially younger people that didn't have a chance to experience that, and bringing all kinds of emotions to people that I think are really healthy.